Hello.
And bonjour.
Guten Tag from Leavenworth, Washington.
And hello.
From the Netherlands.
We're live from India right now.
But we're not here to see any of that.
Currently, I'm taking part in a kind of like a challenge.
The Tim Travellers International Staycation Challenge. And I'm very excited.
But what he's done is he has set his viewers a challenge. So what you have to do, you have to go to your local area and you have to find something that looks like it's in a country it isn't. And this challenge is called the International Staycation Challenge.
Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else, welcome to the official Tim Traveller International Staycation Challenge Awards Ceremony. Over the course of 4 weeks in June and July this year, hundreds of you went out and did your best to travel around the world without leaving your own country. You have found some amazing international buildings, exotic landscapes, and even world-famous monuments in places that you really wouldn't expect them. And you've been posting some brilliant photos, selfies, and videos of your adventures. Today, I think you know what's happening. I'm going to be giving out some entirely fictitious but extremely prestigious awards to the best ones. So get ready to see people in other countries pretending that they're in your country, people in your country pretending that they're in other countries, people in other countries pretending that they're in other countries. You get the idea. And of course, at the end of the video, you will be able to vote for the ultimate winner of the Golden Globule for the best overall international staycation. Now, just like last year, you've sent in so many fantastic entries that unfortunately there's no way I could put everyone into this video. So once you finish watching this, please do check out the posts on my Facebook page. There's a whole hashtag to explore on Twitter and Instagram, and there's a big YouTube playlist of all the amazing videos that you've been uploading here. I'll put a link to that in the description below. But now, in the age-old traditions of YouTube, we're already nearly 3 minutes into the video, so let's get straight into it. It is finally time for the official Tim Traveller International Staycation Challenge Awards. And we're going to kick off with an award that goes to a whole country. It's the award for the most popular destination for an international staycation. Now, I must admit, when I set this challenge, a little bit of me was thinking, what if everyone just goes to their nearest Chinatown, takes a photo and says, here I am in China? Luckily, I didn't need to worry, and you found all sorts of places to go to. But there were certain types of locations and certain types of buildings that a lot of you ended up visiting. Some of the most popular, apart from China, were Japanese gardens, Indian temples, and Russian churches. And of course, it wouldn't be this channel without going into completely unnecessary detail, so I ran some statistics. Based on every single Twitter and Instagram post, plus the ones you sent by email, I can announce that the most popular destination for your international staycations was Japan, who just edged out China in second place while Italy took the bronze medal. So congratulations to the Japanese, your gardens have got absolutely everywhere. Oh, and I've just been told we're giving out a special award for outstanding innovation in a popular destination for an international staycation, and that goes to someone who did something a bit different. Because out of all of you who went to your nearest Chinatown and said, here I am in China, there was one person who went to Chinatown in Southampton, England and said, here I am in Chinatown, Los Angeles. Dave in Southampton, that is next level stuff. The judges loved it. And for taking a photo like this and then claiming you were in the USA, you fully deserve some sort of award. Well done. And from someone who was in the UK but pretended not to be, we now move on to the exact opposite. It's the award for those of you around the world who could have pretended to visit any country you wanted to, and you chose Britain. I have to say, as something of an expert in Britishness, I was impressed by the number of you from outside the UK who managed to make pretty convincing trips to my homeland despite being absolutely nowhere near it. For example, Jean-Christophe in Quebec took this photo of what appears to be one of the Queen's Guards standing outside Buckingham Palace in London, except he's not, he's in Quebec. Meanwhile, Tanya captured this extremely British scene in Arras in northern France, and somehow a whole bunch of you independently made visits to Stonehenge, despite not only being outside the UK, but being in 3 completely different locations in the US. Equally British in a more subtle way is this rather nice red brick house straight out of a leafy suburb in the south of England, but discovered by Gabrielle here in Cebu City in the Philippines. But in the end, there can only be one winner for the best staycation to Britain, and that goes to Chris in Arizona, who visited the original 1830 London Bridge. In case you don't know the story, it was bought by an American in the 1960s, transported piece by piece from London, and rebuilt in its entirety in Lake Havasu, Arizona. What really impressed the judges though was that Chris ate a fish and chips while he was there, and then his daughter did this. Let's be fair, she has nailed that performance, and there is no way I'm not giving you an award. Well done to the whole family. And speaking of internationally famous monuments that ended up in the wrong country, next up it's the award for internationally famous monuments in the wrong country. There were some great entries here, including Grady in the US, who found the Leaning Tower of Pisa just outside Chicago, Chris and Miki, who took this snap of the Statue of Liberty in Tokyo, Diane, who found the Singapore Bay super trees in Chester, UK, and Jessica and Bill, who visited the ancient Greek Acropolis in Nashville, Tennessee. Lovely touch by Jessica there with the passport. But in the end, the winner, which I enjoyed for the sheer nicheness of this entry, is Martin in Romania, who found the Berlin World Clock in the town of Falticeni. Now, admittedly, it's a much less internationally famous monument than some of the other nominees, but in a way that makes it more impressive that someone bothered to copy it. And the judges were also impressed by the fact that Martin managed to find anything for this challenge in a town of 25,000 people in northeast Romania. Truly outstanding work all round. And before we leave this category, a special mention to Bernd in Germany, who discovered a cheat code by going to a place called Miniwelt, where he visited the US capital, the Eiffel Tower, and some Dutch windmills, all in about 5 minutes, before topping it off with a trip on the Wuppertal Schwebebahn. Right, a couple of quick special awards now, because as you know, this whole thing started when I made a video trying to visit every international building I could find in Paris during lockdown here. So first, it's the "But Tim, I live in Paris too" award for the incredible achievement of finding something in the Paris region that I hadn't already put in one of my videos, and that goes to Thibaut and Vitor, who visited this amazing Vietnamese temple in the southern suburb of Évry. And in related news, the "I'll see your that and raise you this" award goes to Alice in Stockholm, who saw my Swedish church in France and raised me his French church in Sweden. Touché, as they say in English. Okay, next, it is a big one, because I'm delighted to announce the return of one of last year's most prestigious awards. It is none other than the Medioscars, the mediocre awards for dramatic performance. And here are the nominees. First up, it's Pierre from Saskatchewan, who is lost in the Sahara.
Where am I? Am I in the Sahara? How long have I been lost for? It's been so long. Just a few minutes. Hey, you're in Saskatchewan, the Great Sand Hills.
Our second nominees are a Texan couple who show incredible acting range in just a short clip. Watch for the moment a few seconds in when they suddenly transport us to deepest Bavaria.
We're enjoying our international staycation here at an authentic German beer hall in New Braunfels, Texas.
Guten Tag, y'all.
I'm Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. Yeehaw!
I mean, it's like we're in Munich itself. Well done, Kevin and Gillian. The judges absolutely loved that one. And our third nominees, well, it wouldn't be the Medioscars without an appearance from these two.
Hello! We're back!
Yes, once again, Martin and Martin have produced an absolute masterpiece, and you can watch their full adventure over on the YouTube playlist. But the judges were particularly impressed by their moving portrayal of a slight disappointment during a visit to France.
So we kept on driving and went to visit Tim in France. But either he wasn't home or he wouldn't let us in, so we just visited this thing instead.
As always with the Media Oscars, some very stiff competition. But the winners of this year's Media Oscar for their incredible nature documentary direct from the Amazon rainforest, it's Moritz and Jenny from Berlin.
Hello, I'm in the Amazonian rainforest. There are lots of wild animals, weird plants, and some extreme humidity.
Superb performances from the entire cast there, and fully deserving of winning this year's Media Oscars. And while we're here supporting the arts, there's just time to give out the mediocre Grammy for the Best International Artist. And that goes to Swedish flute metal band Lombolo. It is of course very hard for musicians to tour at the moment, and that makes Lombolo's trip to China even more impressive than it would have been anyway. And that's about as much of the track as I can play without getting stung by a YouTube copyright claim. Okay, we are almost there, but before we get to the Golden Globule itself, we've got one more award to give away first. It's the Wait, What? Award for the most confusing entry to the challenge. And let's face it, the challenge itself was quite confusing in the first place, but a few people took it to another level. Catching the eye of the judges in this category was Comrade JDV in Barcelona, who managed to visit Venice twice at the same time.
Standing here in St. Mark's Square in Venice, Italy, next to the famous Campanelle. Wait, why are there two of them? I must have had too much to drink last night.
Then there was Henry in the UK, who managed to film a British train crossing an Australian bridge above some Japanese fish.
He's about to cross Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's just this British train, but Australian bridge.
And Henry wasn't the only person to mix 3 different countries, because Kieran and Ryan both separately visited Drogheda Gate in Ireland, one of the most confusing buildings that anyone sent in. I'll let Ryan take up the story.
This is Drogheda Gate. It's the main entrance to Drogheda House and Gardens. The distinctive Hindu Gothic design is believed to have been inspired by John Nash's Royal Pavilion in Brighton.
Now, the Royal Pavilion in Brighton was itself inspired by Indian architecture. So technically, what we're looking at here is Ireland doing an impression of Britain doing some mad impression of India. But even that wasn't quite enough to be the most confusing entry, because that title goes to Ben in Victoria, Australia. And you may need to listen carefully to this one. Ben visited London Bridge, but not the American one, not even the British one, the Australian one, a rock formation on the Victoria coast that supposedly resembles the original London Bridge from London, UK that, as you know, is now in Arizona, USA. Or at least, it used to resemble it until 1990, when one of the arches suddenly collapsed into the ocean and disappeared forever. I'll let Ben have the final word here.
So this is me taking a selfie of something that used to look like something that used to be in London, but is actually in America now. Yeah, that's a bit confusing.
There we go. I hope that's cleared it up for everyone. Because now, the time is finally here. I can announce the nominations for the ultimate prize, the Golden Globule for the Best International Staycation. Now honestly, it was incredibly hard for me to cut this down to just 5 nominees, because so many of you put in so much effort and time and talent, but in the end I had to pick 5, because that's the maximum number of options in a YouTube poll. So I've chosen people who really took me on a journey, whether it was through a series of brilliant photos or a particularly entertaining video tour. That is what got these people into the final 5. I'll explain how you can vote after you've seen them, but without further faff, here are the nominees. Nominee number 1 is the Frenchiest Fry, or Nerdcat42 on Twitter, who posted this fantastic thread visiting 9 locations within the city of Melbourne, Australia. Judges were particularly impressed by the great photos of some spectacular locations, as well as the textbook usage of the thumbs up to indicate that you're still smiling under your face covering. Nominee number 2 is Are We There Yet on YouTube, who takes us around the world in 1 minute in Brussels, Belgium. And this is just a very well made video. It's beautifully simple, there's some great locations, it's everything you need and nothing that you don't. And the channel has less than 100 subscribers at the moment. Carry on like this, and I think that will change very quickly. Nominee number 3 is Wyatt, or Wicked Y, over on Instagram, who posted a collection of 10 photos from Amsterdam, including this gorgeous row of 19th century houses, where each one mimics the style of a different country. From left to right, that's England, the Netherlands, Russia, Italy, Spain, France, and Germany. If you're ever in Amsterdam, these can be found on Roma Visserstraat, not far from the Vondelpark and the Rijksmuseum. Nominee number 4 is William from Washington DC, who explored the abandoned international buildings of National Park Seminary.
This is National Park Seminary, which is neither a national park nor a seminary.
Yes, I said abandoned, and yes, that's why this one went straight into the top 5.
There was also this Italian villa, or what's left of it. So what was this place? What happened?
And finally, nominee number 5, I love this one. It's Thomas and his magical bicycle trip to America.
And so on my merry way I went. I traveled over to the USA, biking through an ocean.
This is Fall Creek, Wisconsin, okay?
Just trust me, okay?
Green forests of Washington. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Mount Rushmore.
So there we go. There are your 5 nominees. To vote for your favourite, all you need to do is click on the link below this video in the description. That will take you straight to a YouTube poll, and you can pick the one that you like. There are also links to all 5 original nominated entries, so you can go and see those photos and videos for yourself in full and uncut. And that's it. All that remains is for me to say a massive thank you to everyone who took part in the challenge, especially those of you who didn't make it into the video. I'm so sorry, but I hope at least you had a blast going on your adventures anyway. Here's a montage of some more entries that I just couldn't leave out. And after you've watched this, please do go and check out the playlist on YouTube. There are some brilliant videos on there. Meanwhile, I will be back soon with some of my own adventures, and you never know, I might even be going outside France. Until then, well, from me and from everyone,
Thank you all for watching, and we will
See you soon.
it's going the wrong way round, isn't it?